Hello everybody, welcome to Cape Rugby TV. Wednesday night, we're talking about what's happening in the world of Western Province Club Rugby, and it's all about to get going now. The league starts this Saturday. It's what everybody's been waiting for the last couple of months. Almost, what would we say, about 7-8 months since our last official Club Rugby games. But it's all getting going, and we're going to talk about it this evening. I'll introduce you to my panel in a couple of seconds. Big thanks to Score Energy Drinks, of course, on board with Cape Rugby TV. Dulux Maitland at number 30 Coburg Road. You've got to get down there for all your paint specs, color tone, your timber treatment specialists. And on board with us now, MChem Pharmacy, MChem 24-hour pharmacy. They're out in Durban Road. We'll talk to you more about that during the course of the show, but it's going to be that's where I do my shopping for my pharmaceutical products, if you want to call it that. MChem 24-hour pharmacy, Mr. Malach and the guys have joined Cape Rugby TV. All right, coming up on the show tonight, we'll be taking a look at the derby match between Villagers and the Hamiltons. Let me introduce you to my panel first. Lynn and Julius, welcome back.
Hi, good evening. Thanks for inviting me back on the show.
Yeah, we haven't seen you for a while. You've been
quite
busy.
a bit.
Yep.
Busy, yeah. Catching up on sleep.
Yep, babies and all that.
Yep.
Jerome Paardewater, nice to have you back.
Yeah, JP, it's good. It's good to be back, and it's good that league start. And yes, we've been covering so much games that's just continue. But it's good that the leagues actually start, and we can see some real rugby now.
It's hard to believe that it's finally here. You know, I know we've had a couple of Super League A games, but mainly with the universities, and now we get going. We'll be speaking this evening to Villagers captain Ross Beckett. Is of course the captain of Villagers. Clinton van Rensburg, as you know, is head coach at Villagers. He's been around for quite a while. He's had a lot of experience with UCT and False Bay and Hamiltons. He's of course coaching at Villagers. We had him on the show a number of occasions. Hamilton captain and Neil Cleghorn, as well as their head coach Nikki Viljoen. They will be joining us, or we'll be talking to them after the games. And then we'll take a look at your friendly results, friendlies that happened last weekend for the clubs that shared their scores, or those that we managed to find at least. And we'll take a look at this weekend's upcoming games in the various leagues, as well as Super Rugby results and Super Brew. Keep your mobile phones handy, so keep your phones handy. I'm going to give you an opportunity to win yourself a case of Score Energy Drinks during the course of the show. You're going to make sure that you keep your phone handy. 33090, that's the number that you're going to need to text. Right, let's get straight into it. Villagers against Hamilton, two of South Africa's oldest clubs in the country, and they were up against it at Brookside. Of course, Villagers back in Super League A now. Let's take a look at the first half before we look at the second. Oh, welcome back, folks. All right, so there we go. Villages, Hamilton's, two of South Africa's oldest clubs. From what I understand, more than 140 derbies already taking place between these two teams. Lyndon, your thoughts, first half there?
Yeah, I think it was a very good. Obviously, these matches are always a tough one. Or the specific match between Village and Derby, no matter which league that they compete in. It's a very good match, very tough encounter, and you can see that it was well supported as well. A lot of history between the two clubs, but when it's game time, there's no love lost between these two teams.
Jerome?
Yeah, it was actually interesting first half. The Villages start the game kick off. Hemis played, and they were for 22 minutes before they scored the first try. They were
Hamilton's 22 minutes before.
Before they scored the first try, they were in Villages 22.
Yeah.
So Villages knew what was coming because the Hemis got a couple of penalties which they tried to maul, but they actually defended the maul quite well. And the defense out wide was also good. And then you see that try that Angelo scored. That was under 22nd minute that he actually scored a try. So it was quite good and entertaining. That first half was really competitive. And but slowly but surely, then the cracks start to open up in the defense of Villages, and Emmy's a bit too strong in that first half. But the first half, like I say, the 22 minutes was quite good rugby.
Yeah. All right, folks. We're going to take an ad break. When we come back from the break, we'll take a look at what happened in the second half between Villages and Hamilton's. As you know, club rugby season is now underway, starting this coming Saturday. The leagues are getting going. We'll take a look at those fixtures during the course of the show, so make sure you don't go away. 33090 is the number that you need to text. I'll give you an opportunity to win yourself a case of Score energy drinks a little bit later during the course of the show. Back in a sec. At least before the break, we took a look at the first half highlights between Hamilton's and Villages. They were, of course, playing at Brookside. Now, of course, Villages have just come back. They've bounced back from Super League B back into Super League A after many, many years of being in Super League A. Before I go to the second half highlights there, Lyndon, I mean, just looking at those first half highlights, it looks to me like Villages are here to show their intentions. They look like
they really ran hard, and like Jerome said, for 22 minutes you're holding out a side like Hamilton's that has been in the Super League A for a while now. They've been contenders for the league for a few seasons. You're holding them out like that, and we know Villages is a very young side. They sort of players coming and going, chopping and changing. They've had a couple of coaching staff changes as well. So it's good to see them holding them so on defense. And I think in Super League A, your defense will be a bit more valuable than your offense.
Jerome, from a team perspective, what'll be going through the players' minds now? Going from Super League B to Super League A. Forget about the rugby side now, but the fact that this team, this club is back in Super League A. Well, I mean, you can't say forget about the rugby side. We'll obviously be talking about rugby now, but I mean the technical side of rugby. They're back now.
Yeah, they're back, and it must be because in Super League A, if you don't have a pack forwards that is competitive, you will struggle. Which Clinton did well. They recruited the right guys, and I mean they were quite competitive in the lineouts. And in the scrums, so the set pieces was quite good.
Okay, we'll talk about the technical side of rugby in a second. I think at the moment I'm just focusing on the mentality of the team. But let's take a look at the rugby. Let's take a look and see what happened in the second half highlights. welcome back. Right, folks, so let's talk about the rugby itself. Jerome, we were talking about the fact that Villagers now moved up from Super League B. They're back in Super League A. Looking at the game, for me, it looks like Villagers is a different side that we've seen in the past. I mean, they had a couple of rough rides. They got relegated. This happens to teams. But looking at the games, I must say, I don't think that all of those tries were necessarily the easiest. They look like some soft tries.
Yeah, what happens, AP, what I was saying is like Clinton actually recruited well because he's got a good tight five, and they actually match Hemis with the Hemis is in the competition known for the past few years with the best tight five. So they matched them, and I think Nicky also made a good move in the second half by playing with the backs and playing into space because it seems like the
Nicky Viljoen,
the coach of Hamilton's, yeah. So you can see he's not a coach that just sit there and say, okay, our game plan is we're going to dominate them up front.
Yeah.
He saw that there was no cracks in the front row to get through and just to make it easy, and started to play with their backs where the holes came in and offloads in before tackles and things. So it wasn't like just they knew they were not just going to run like with pure power run over them.
Yeah.
And they've got a young fly off there. He's still under 21. Lombard, so he was playing the guys into space, and they've got Ruan Moster there, good strong center, run it up hard, pass before contact, and that's where
Ruan Moster, of course, played at UWC for a while. Then he played at Durban for a while.
Yeah.
In fact, I think he might even
He was
been
in the Western Province Sevens captain as well a couple of years back. Yeah.
No. Let me just ask you, how much of an impact, the Clark brothers, both Ashley and Daniel. Otherwise known as Bossy and Bossy, son of Bossy, the Bossy and Bossy. They've now sort of hung up the boots, or they're not active there. Certainly Ashley has. How much of an impact would that have on the team this year?
I think what Ashley has done in the last 2 or 3 seasons, he's sort of been the face of a revived Villagers side in the last 4 or 5 years. They've really gone back to what made Villager a club previously. The true essence of the club. And I think what the Clark brothers have done is they've really sort of instilled the pride back into the Villager jersey. And I think that what Ashley's impact, not only as a player and as a captain, but also just his general approach towards club rugby has spun off into the season. And I think the vibe and the sort of feeling you get of the Villager boys, if you look at their social media and you speak to the guys like Ramiz, Ishmael, and these guys, you soon realize that there's a different sense of camaraderie and a different sense of sort of coherence at the club that hasn't been there. Previously there were guys coming from all over the country, all over the province, signing contracts, all of these things. Now you've got what Ashley, and I know there's more of that helped and stood behind, guys like Rob Wagner, who took over, who's at the club now. They've really gone back to what made Villager the club, and the love for the jersey and the love for the club, and that's what is important. And I think Villager is a true testament of what, if a community really stands by, and that's how a club can revive itself.
Right, final result there between Hamiltons and Villagers. Hamilton's walking their way there with a 38-0 score against Villagers. But for those of you that thought this would be an easy game, and we've seen some derbies in the past where Hamiltons were putting on close on 100 points I think one game it was 101-0 against Villagers back in the day, which was a totally imbalanced match, playing a derby match there between a Super League A side that was at the top of the log and a Super League B side that had been relegated. So nice to see Villagers bouncing back there, and we wish them the very best of luck for the season. Let's catch up with the captain of Villagers, Ross Beckett.
It's a good game, good derby. It's what it's all about. Nice physical encounter between two rich history clubs. So fantastic outing. Obviously not the result that we wanted, but we're building this year, and we're trying to set the tone for us in the Super League A. So I'm happy with the boys, what they did today. So we just keep building, and the league starts for us next week. So super excited. Yes, I played at Hammies the last couple of seasons, so it was a physical encounter for me again. Obviously knowing a couple of the boys, so obviously up for the game to play against them. So, but nice to be back at Village where it all started for me. So I'm back home and looking to lead this team through the season and hopefully get some good results. Yes and no. I mean, you can't make excuses for the field. But yeah, we just the boys just did their best. We practiced here the last couple of sessions, so it wasn't an excuse. It was the same for both sides. So I think both teams just really enjoyed playing on some grass. So super excited for that. Yes, yeah. I mean, we just this year is about just really surviving and ticking boxes game by game and just building momentum. We haven't set extensive goals. It's just taking it week by week and challenge by challenge. So yeah, we're just looking forward to next week against Durban. That's our next challenge, and we'll focus on that for the next week.
Ross Beckett, captain of Villages. Jerome, he's got a bit of experience. He's been around, and he would have known what to do in that game playing against Hamilton.
Yeah, I could see. That's maybe why I could see like up front, a bit of what's going on with the forwards up front with the Hamiltons. Maybe that's why they contested so well up front. But yeah, it's been around, been at Emmys, and now been at Villages, been at Emmys, go back there.
Yeah.
It's always good if a guy go back where he started, and he was really trying his best.
Yeah. Well, hopefully that injury is not too bad, and he actually is back on the park this weekend when Villages start their first formal games. We'll take a look at the fixtures a little bit later. Let's catch up now with Clinton van Rensburg, head coach of Villages.
Well, it's good to finally play some real rugby. We've been starved for rugby. It's been a 18-week pre-season, and to finally get onto the main field and play against a quality side like Hammies, it's a real honour, and to be part of the 142nd derby, it's a special time. Yeah, this year we had to strengthen our squad a bit. We've got a really good bunch of guys, the guys that love the game. They're here for love, love and a dream that we sold to them. So I think the guys started believing and trusting today. We needed to build a bit of trust. We're a new team. So we'll take a lot out from this game as we build towards the season. It kicks off next week, and there's going to be no easy games, I can assure you. Yeah, Alicia, you don't understand how tough Super League A is until you're in it. But yeah, we're happy to be back with the big boys. So hopefully we'll take a lot of lessons out of today, and we can apply it when it really matters, when we start playing for points against derbies next weekend. No, not at this stage. Obviously I think myself and Nicky will maybe get around a fire tomorrow and discuss this game before we start planning for Durbanville. But yeah, Alicia, we knew that we were going to be up against it today, and Hamilton showed their quality. I just a little bit disappointed we couldn't play a little bit more, because I think we've got some exciting players, but a lot of credit to my boys for the defence, especially in the first 20 minutes.
Clinton van Rensburg, they're just talking about the defensive side of things. But Jerome, Villages will have also just gone into this game now knowing that, in fact, the question I've got for you is what would have been going through Clinton's mind here, because they've played against Hamilton's tough team, and just being the Linden now, he's got the fixtures lined up already. Next week they played, this coming weekend they played Durban, and then next week they play Hamilton's, and then after that they play Tygerberg. So they basically got three of the top teams, one after the other. I mean, I don't know, what's he thinking?
That's exactly. I think was 2 weeks ago we had this discussion with Jono.
With Jono van der Walt.
Do you want to play?
Of course, coach of False Bay. There's different strategies.
Do you want to play a week before you start the league against a strong team, or do you actually want to play? Do you want to give your guys off? In my opinion, I would never play it, but it's a derby game for them, and hopefully not too many injuries for them. But it's tough, and the league is going to be tough. So they've got 4 weeks of hell, so hopefully for them they haven't got too many injuries.
I personally think that every coach out there at the moment is going to have a very tough season. Super League A, Super League B, it doesn't make any difference. You're going to have tough games. It's not like in the past where you had easy games, light games. It's not tough all the way through. Hopefully for Clinton van Rensburg, all his players are going to be fit, starting the league this coming weekend. Let's speak now to the captain of Hamilton's, Neil Cleghorn. He's also been there for a while, carrying the flag for Hammies.
Yeah, it was pretty tough. Listen, Villages came for us the first 20-30 minutes, but we expected that. It's a proper derby. It's been going for forever to all these clubs in South Africa, so we anticipated them coming for us in the first half. But luckily, just before the halftime break, we got into our stride and we played some proper rugby. Yeah, listen, I'm the oldest oak in the team at 32, so my time's getting to an end, but we've got a proper couple of youngsters coming through, and that's what we want. Listen, you've got to breed the younger oaks, the under 20s coming through, and we've done that for the last 3-4 years. So we're picking the fruits of that now. So the oaks are coming into the first team setup, which is great for us. We can count on them to bring the pace and the speed the second half, so it's great. Listen, we had a rocky start to the Super League A. We didn't know if it was going to happen, so we've prepared. We had a field. We've practiced at the SAPS sports field, so we've been going for a while, since January basically. So fitness is ready. Gameplay. We toured to Durban, which helped us a lot, but we're ready. Yeah. Listen, we've come short for the last 10 years, second place, third place. So I believe with the Oaks we have mixtures of youth and experience. We can definitely do it this year, yeah. We're going for the trophies, for sure.
Neil Cleghorn there, I kind of remember interviewing him when he says now he's the oldest guy in the team. He's been around for a while. But I remember interviewing Neil as one of our very first Cape Rugby TV Man of the Matches at Hammy's. Nice to see him leading now, Jerome.
Yeah, I mean, he's been for quite a while at the club. And as he was saying, one thing that Hammy's were doing right is with their junior structures is quite good, especially with the under 20s. They put a lot of effort and work in that, and there's a few of that guys who playing first team now with him. So they've got a good structure going there. And I mean, guys like him, there's a few other older guys, Angelo on the wing there, and Mosi guiding the youngsters. So it's good to have, especially with Ryan Lombard. He's 20 years old, playing with experienced guys around him. In the pack, there's one or two guys who's still young, so to have that experience there, so they've got a good mixture.
Right, folks, we've done a lot of talking about Super League A. Of course, Super League, this is a derby match, so it's not a league match, but time now for us to start wrapping it up and start looking at the other leagues. Super League A has been getting a lot of attention because of the universities getting the ball rolling early, so to speak. But we'll wrap it up now with the interview from Nicky Viljoen, who's of course the head coach at Hamilton's. And we're going to do a break, and when we come back from the break, we'll start taking a look at the rest of the season fixtures. That's very exciting. It's all starting now.
Yeah, listen, there's a lot of negative stuff in terms of how we started and just the whole build-up. I think quite a few new guys in the team, the first derbies. So I think it was just excitement was maybe too much for them. But then towards the end, we started rolling and started actually playing a bit, you know. So yeah, but all in all, just happy to be here and just to be able to play this derby for it to happen. Yeah, I think it was a very, very long pre-season, you know. But it was quite challenges, you know, in terms of our time maybe under lights and stuff like that, you know. So sometimes feels like we're not there yet, you know, and we haven't had the time to play combinations and stuff like that. But after what I saw today and the last 2-3 weeks, you know, I've gotten some answers, you know, and I can go into False Bay next week and feeling confident with what I will bring there. Yeah, I think for us, you know, our motto and our something that we just go in with this year was just to make memories, you know, for us just to go and look back at the year and go and say, you know what, we made some memories, you know, and let's not put pressure on ourselves. We always say let's take a game by game, but just this year, just to enjoy it. Let's just go and enjoy it, and you know, 80 minutes, and the rest will come. You know, so there's no pressure on us this year, and we just want to go joy. Just want to enjoy it.
Big thanks to MChem Pharmacy. There, as you can see behind me now, MChem Pharmacy on board with Cape Rugby TV. Well, you know, for those of you that are looking for a convenient pharmacy, MChem 24-hour pharmacy, 24 hours a day, available there for your, well, pretty much everything. Massive pharmacy just on the corner there of the N1 and Durban Road. You can see it off the N1 when you drive past there. Mr. Malach has owned that pharmacy for a very long time. And I've been there on a number of occasions when it's 11, 12 o'clock at night and you want to know where to go, whether you need a birthday present or some emergency medicals, or if you want to get your sports supplements, MChem 24-hour pharmacy. I love going to that pharmacy. They've got a nice coffee shop at the top. and of course there's a clinic, and they take such good care of their customers. For them, it's all about family and the customer. Very, very nice, intimate, personal relationship pharmacy. Right, folks, let's take a look at the logs, or at least the fixtures, coming up in Super League A this coming weekend. It's all starting now. And in Super League A, we've, of course, got a number of teams there. Coming up in Super League A this weekend, Belhar take on NTK, home ground advantage for Belhar. Brackenfell and Tygerberg, False Bay and Hamilton's, Union Mill, St. George's, Villages and Durbell. All right, let me take it to the panel there. It's Super League A time. Well, it's not Super League A, it's Club Rugby season time. Super League A. Taking a quick look at this. Lyndon, your opinion, Belhar, NTK?
I think it's going to be a very tough one for Belhar because not much was happening in friendly matches during the last 6 or 8 minutes, 6 or 8 weeks.
Yeah.
It feels like a minute. But I think that also NTK has also been like sort of getting between what they define the groove.
Finding the gap.
I think that will be a very tough encounter, but I think Belhar to take it.
Right, Jerome, two teams here that are up against each other this weekend is Brackenfell and Tygerberg. Tygerberg have kind of consolidated their new approach, very marketable, a lot of big names that are at the team now. They've been around a long time, a lot of experience there. Brackenfell, though, on the other hand, back in Super League A over the last year or two, and they seem to be putting their foot down that they are contenders for Super League A. It's not going to be an easy game.
Yeah, at Brackenfell, I think the weather doesn't make it good for Tygerberg, because that field, if it rains at Brackenfell, it's actually in there. They shoot that heavy field in the rain, so it's gonna be tough for Tygerberg going there, because they're quite at home. Brackenfell is a different kettle of fish. New coaching staff at Tygerberg, not new. Brendel taking over.
It's interesting that you say this in this way for me, because you would not have said this a year ago. You would have said Brackenfell are busy getting comfortable in the league. They're newcomers. They're settling down. You would have used all those type of words that media people use. But now you're talking about Brackenfell as if they're rock solid in Super League A.
Yeah, because every game last year they improved, and I think they're still busy building there. Though their coach is at Durbanville now, moved to Durbanville. So they've got the coach who was at Kales River is coaching there now. So the coaches move. So there's new coaches everywhere. So it'd be interesting, but I know over the years it's tough to go and play at Brackenfell.
All right, so Brackenfell up against Tygerberg. Lyndon, let's go to you. Super League A here. False Bay, Hamiltons. Hamiltons, of course, just played against Villagers. It's the Super Sport Challenge. False Bay is, of course, milking it, taking full advantage of having Hamiltons and the Super Sport Challenge at home ground. Jonathan van der Walt and his guys must be chomping at the bit to get on the field and have their first game.
You just took the words out of my mouth. I know Jono must be licking his chops now with waiting for this match to happen. But also knowing Jono, he would have at some point completely shut out but all the festivities and whatever's happening on the game around the field, and then come 4 o'clock, he'll be zoned in and very technical like we know him to be. But I think that'll be a very, very, very good match between False Bay and Hamiltons. I think that'll set the pace for the open clubs in the league.
All right, then I'm going to stay with you on the next question. Union Mill up against St. George's.
Yeah.
Union Mill again, a little bit like Brackenfell, but now they've been around a little bit longer. Yeah. Just quickly, they are also looking as major contenders in Super League A. And St. George's back on the park now. Will be looking. So this is going to be an interesting match. Yeah,
a couple of weeks back, I might have been a bit more doubtful of St. George's, but the last 3-4 weeks they've really gelled.
No, not you.
They've really gelled together, and they've really stuck it out with a core group of young and old. So I think that's also going to be a good match, and I'm tipping St. George's to take their first win there.
Right, then lastly, Jerome, I'm going to go to you on this year. Villagers are up against Durbell. We just saw Villagers that had a tough match against Hamiltons in this derby match that they had. They're going to really have a test this weekend against Durbell.
Yeah, it's Durbell's been for long in the league, and Villagers trying to Villagers back there. So I would go with Durbell.
Right, you didn't have to make a prediction, but okay, if you want to go with Durban, we'll take that one.
He went with St. George's.
Did he go with St. George's?
Yeah.
Did
Of course.
But he had to. He had to.
I've got to go back.
He had to.
Oh my God. I can't.
You've always got
Yeah, the league just started now. Please don't put me in that space.
Oh, heavens. But yeah, just incidentally, Manny Williams, if you're watching us, is Manny injured?
He's
got
injured.
a
Yeah,
knee injury.
he picked up a very nasty knee injury against the Tigerberg fixture. I think he's on the way to recovery right now.
Manny, if you are watching us on Cape Rugby, just a little bit of a get well soon from us here at Cape Rugby. We saw your pictures of your knee on Facebook. All right. I wasn't sure if it was your knee or someone else's knee, but it was a knee on Facebook, and we just thought, okay, we just give a shout out for Manny. All right, some posters came in. Remember, it's very easy for us to publish your club and tell people about what's happening at your club. Let's take a look here. The first one, of course, came in from False Bay. False Bay Hammy's derby match at the Philip Herbstein at Constantia. The main game there at 5 p.m. All right, so a little bit later because of the Super Sport Challenge. So it's a DHL Western Province curtain raiser. That's at 3 p.m. and the main game is at 5 p.m. False Bay against Hamilton. And then, of course, Brackenfell against Tigerberg this coming weekend. Super League A kickoff times there at 1:20, 3, and 4 o'clock for the main game. Entry fee is 20 Rand per person and 20 Rand per car. So make sure you get down there on time for those games. And then Union Mill and St. George's sent in their poster. First team kicks off there at 4 o'clock. A big thanks to Union Mill for sharing this poster with us and including, or at least, and St. George's, and including the Cape Rugby TV logo there. That game is, of course, at the Theo Marais Park. Kickoff at 4 o'clock. All right, Theo Marais, down Coburg Main Road, and it's on the left-hand side, just opposite Macro. So get down there and go and support Union Mill up against St. George's this coming weekend. We'll take a break, and when we come back from the break, we'll take a look at the fixtures in Super League B, C, and the various regions. Back in a sec. Right, welcome back, everybody. It's Cape Rugby TV, and we're so excited at the moment because the league is starting. Everyone is chomping and talking, and it's Club Rugby Fever, and it's on Facebook, and it's on Twitter, and it's, of course, on Cape Rugby TV. And as I say, everybody's hugely excited. One of the leagues that looks like it's going to be a hot league this year is Super League B. Let's take a quick look at the fixtures in Super League B this coming weekend. It's Franschhoek up against Belleville, Hamlets and Hands and Hearts, Paarl and Young Peoples, Peniel Villages and Helderberg, and All Saints and Kalesbury, the Kale boys taking on All Saints. Let's quickly look at that then. And for us, the pick of that league in Super League B, Franschhoek and Belleville. It certainly looks like that's going to be a cracker of a game, Jerome. When we asked you which game do you think we should go to, you actually, and I'm sure it's not because you're a favorite of Belleville.
Definitely not.
Definitely not. Which means that you're possibly a favorite of Franschhoek. But you recommended that this could be a good game in Super League B.
Yeah, I think so. Both clubs had a lot of games. I know Warren Isaacs and Regan Peterson at Belleville, they did a lot. They've almost played every week. And they were quite clever last week. They went on a camp last week for the whole weekend.
Belleville?
Take the boys away.
Belleville
they
went
to Worcester on a camp for the weekend.
Nice.
So they've done a lot of work behind the scenes. They're looking good. But I know Franschhoek, it's going to be tough with what they do and with their fans there and Belleville fans. So I just think it's going to be a good festive game.
I think it's going to be a cracker. Franschhoek and Belleville, Hamlets and Hands and Hearts, Lyndon.
Yeah, I think we know Hamlets are a side that you don't really know what to expect of them on the day.
Yeah.
They run into space. They play very smart rugby, not attacking the player. They attack the space a lot. But Hands and Hearts also, we know them also to be, the Rainbow Boys. They
New
also
coach at Hamlets. Gavin Parsons, of course, not coaching.
Yeah. So that's also be a test
so it's
for
going to be
him.
interesting to see what comes out there. Yeah.
Because Gavin has been there for a while.
Then it's, of course, Paarl and Young Peoples, Peniel Villages and Helderberg, and All Saints. Right, let's look at the posters that came in. Folks, please just remember you must share these posters with us so we can find them. It's very hard for us to find them if you only post them on your Facebook page. So the easiest way is just tag us at Cape Rugby TV or #WP Club Rugby so we can find the poster if you don't send it to us directly. Just so we can get your posters on. And remember, you must try and make it in the shape of so not in the shape for Facebook, but in the shape for, of course, for your TV size. So if you're looking at your TV now, that's the sort of the shape. So it's like taking a piece of paper like this. Let me explain to you. So this is what a piece of paper looks like. If you do your poster in this format, then it's nice for us to put it a full screen on Cape Rugby TV. And incidentally, if you're watching this TV right now, you will see that the quality is fantastic. And of course, we're in a 16:9 format. It's been a number of years, and Cape Town TV finally has us on 16:9, so the quality is really, really good now. And we love the fact that we've got this great quality. So Cape Town TV has really gone up to the next level. Franschhoek and Bellville sent in their poster. Of course, kickoff there for the first team is at 4 o'clock. Ho hom ha is what the boys are saying there. Gate fees is 10 Rand, 15 Rand for vehicles, and of course that kickoff there is at the Groendal Sport Ground. And then the All Saints is up against the Kale boys, playing at the Helderzig Sports Field, so it's an away game for Kuilsriver. First team kicks off at 4 o'clock, and of course the under-20s kick off at 1:20. Right, let's take a quick look at Super League C. Super League C fixtures are going to be another hot league. It's of course Goodwood up against Scottsdene, Lunga up against Young Wesleys, Macassar against Strand Silurians, and Elsie's Young Wesleys and Violets, and Blue Jets take on Kylemore. Right, some interesting games there. I think Goodwood and Scottsdene, that's going to be a bit of a challenge, and we'll see how things go there. But an interesting game here is going to be, for me, Linden Silurians and Elsie's Rugby. Silurians have come crashing down over the last few years from Super League A down to B, down to C now, but there seems to be a breath of fresh air at Silurians. They're talking about the Gees again. They are in a building mode. They will be looking to climb their way back out of Super League C and get into the next league. While as Elsie's, on the other hand, they play with that. Well, they play with this immense sense of pride. Yeah. They've got also the same type of culture and history as Silurians. This is going to be an interesting game.
A very interesting game, and it's a different era. Start of a different era for both clubs. Like you said, now Silurians are rebuilding for the last 2-3 years. They're also in that phase trying to get things back to going. And I think Elsie's is a good sort of litmus test for the match, litmus test for both clubs.
Well, certainly one thing that I do know is that after that game there will be a lot of photographs from Alice Michaels, who will be posting a lot of pictures.
A lot of food.
A lot of food.
There will be a lot of food.
That'll be on my way home, so I might just stop over there just to see how it's going there with all the guys at Elsie's.
And then, of course, Anslin April has now taken to Twitter, and we know that there will be live score results on Twitter on Saturday afternoon. So Elsie's River, I mean, really, for me, the guys have embraced the media process, and it helps us to tell the rest of the world what's happening at Elsie's, and hopefully they'll land a few more sponsors this year, as well as Silurians, considering we're talking so much about Silurians. If I know who your key sponsor is, we can mention them. Riverside Park, of course, this weekend will be hosting Macassar up against Strand. A nice poster that's coming here. We are them Sea Boys. A poster that's coming. And then it's Silurians against Elsie's River. Look how nice and clean this is. Silurians. This, of course, game at Silurians Park. The players' entry is 50 Rand. Spectators 80 Rand. Buster Parts, by the way, from Elsie's at Holt River on 9th Avenue at 11 o'clock. So if you're watching right now, if you're one of the players or one of the spectators from Elsie's, 11 o'clock at Holt River, make sure you get down there. The bus leaves there on the corner, in fact, the corner of Holt River and 9th Avenue. So make sure that you're there by 11 o'clock. And big thanks, of course, to Elsie's Rafir for putting Cape Rugby TV on their poster. So that way we know where you are. In the City League, we'll take a look at the league logs, at least the fixtures in the City League, and then we're going to take a look at some of your friendly results as well after the break. Right, welcome back, folks. Let's take a look at the fixtures now in the City League. As you know, the season kicks off this coming Saturday. Western Zebras are up against Progress. Masi Pumulele take on Temperance. And then in the Southern League, Laguna retreat, Peninsula Noordlikes, Rocklands and Young Brothers, Silverleaf and Atlantis and Bishop Lavis and Morningstar. In the Northern League, Wraithby take on Imikawi, Whistling Whales and Kailicha, and Blue Stars are up against Delft. In the Paarl League's getting hot and they're ready for action. There's been a lot of friendlies in this. Paarl Rangers up against Peril United, Riverstones and Young Standards, Simondium take on Paarl, Young Gardens and Albions, and then Allendale take on Violets. Paarl, we're not sure where the Allendale Violets fixture is, and of course a lot of the fixtures, the field locations will still be determined. Right, folks, if you want to win yourself a case of Score energy drinks, all right, all you need to do is SMS the word SCORE to 33090, and you put yourself in the mix to win a case of Score energy drinks. Congratulations to last week's winner, Conrad Croy. Conrad walks away with a case of Score energy drinks. Can you for Conrad, Jerome, any relation to Bala?
Yeah, it's Bala's brother, and
Is it
it's
Bala? Of Conrad, Corey, of course, we all know Conrad. Connie. Connie, I don't know.
yeah, and he's my cousin.
He's your cousin.
Of course he is.
Of course he's your cousin.
Of course he is. I mean, what are you thinking?
Yeah,
Over Kimono probably is his cousin as well.
Yeah. How many cousins have you got, actually?
Yeah, we're quite a big family.
Yeah, you're quite a big family, yeah. You know, you and Barry Hilton would get along very well. Yeah, Barry Hilton's also got a lot of cousins, Makazi, yeah? All right, folks, let's take a look at the friendly results that came up over the weekend. All right, we had some fantastic, interesting games, and I think that's really what it was made out to be, is exactly that, testing the water, so to speak. Helderberg, 22-15 over Kraaifontein. Strand, 31-13 over Noordlikers. Whistling Wheels went down to Kelsriver, 34-14. Busy Bees, 24 points to 7, win over Rocklands. And Hamilton's, as you saw in the derby match there, they beat Villagers 38-0. Blue Stars 25-15 over Young Gardens. Hands and Hearts went down to Morningstar 27-20. Macaster 61-7 over Western Zebras. And Van der Stel 48-26 over Frisante Kraal. Some interesting results here. Lyndon, from a Helderberg beating Kraaifontein, both those teams will be looking. I mean, that's a close game in terms of friendlies, but they will now be looking to draw strength on that.
Yeah, Helderberg also went through a bit of a change in coaching staff and management staff. So I think sort of getting towards the league, I think they can definitely draw a lot of positives from beating a side like as strong as Kraaifontein.
You think they're going to be contenders?
I think they are. I think they're a very young side. If they do stay with the same combinations throughout the year, barring a few injuries, of course, I think they can become very strong contenders in Super B. I mean, they came very close last year.
Well, I'm just thinking about that match, that almost derby match between Helderberg and St George's.
Yeah.
It came down to the last few minutes. It was back and forth, and
exactly.
And if Helderberg played like they did on that day against St George's, who now are a Super League A side, Helderberg do look like they're going to have some strength.
Helderberg lost against NTK in the playoff relegation promotion match last season or end of the season, and I think coming that close, I think they will build off that, and then going into the league with that momentum, I think Helderberg are one of the firm favourites to finish in the top 6 and then go on to win gain promotion again.
Jerome, one of the other teams that jumps out from me here is Whistling Wheels. They lost to Kelsriver this weekend, 34-14. And I think the week before that they played against Hamilton's. Yeah. I mean, this is a team that's in the lower leagues, and they really are testing themselves against some very tough outfits. Surely this is going to be, they're going to come into the league starting this weekend going, well, we've played against the best. Yeah, no,
they've done well, and it's always good to play against better opposition in friendly games because the score doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But you can test your strength, and they're looking quite good. I think the other result for me is Hansen Hearts in Morningstar.
Yeah.
So Morningstar beating Hansen Hearts, it's also I don't know if Roger Smith is still coaching at Hansen Hearts because I think he took over at Hansen Hearts. But that's a amazing result for me.
I don't think.
Let's just pause over here. We'll get Renzo.
No.
Who's the coach at Hansen Hearts? Brian, of course, Brian Williamson. How do we miss that when we've seen that on Facebook of Brian? Brian has been around a long time. He's also been very instrumental at Western Province Rugby, helping with various things there.
Can I just add, Jerome? I know you said now that winning is not always a thing, but if you tell a fan, your loyal supporters, that winning isn't everything, if it's a derby match or if it's a friendly match, that fan is going to differ with you. Going to say, "Nee, ons wil wen, ons moet wen." Whether you play a friendly match or preseason, they're gonna be wanting to win.
It's one of those things.
It's one of those things. As a coach, obviously, it's a different thing.
If you play against the same, if you're Super C and you play against a Super C team, then obviously your fans is gonna be disappointed. But I don't think a fan can be disappointed if you're Super C and you play against a Super A team. Then
but you will still find a fan very die-hard fans that are there.
Folks, if you have not joined the Newlands Faithful yet, then you need to get online to www.wprugby.com. Newlands Faithful is, of course, the supporters club to Western Province Rugby and the Stormers. It's still stuck in my mind of where I want to go. It's in the back of my head. I've got to get on that. For just R1,000, you can join the Newlands Faithful. You join the Newlands Faithful and you get this value pack to the value of R3,000, which includes, of course, a Stormers jersey, the brand new exclusive cap that's only for the Newlands faithful. And then, of course, various bonus gifts from the likes of Bright Rock and so forth, as well as a faithful SIM card starter pack courtesy of Vodacom. And all of that is going to be delivered to your door by DHL. So certainly a lot of value add there if you join. And not to mention that once you become a Newlands faithful, the faithful member, you're going to be able to get all these discounts from the suppliers and supporters to the faithful loyalty card system. The likes of Daddy's Deals and so forth. You go and check all that out and you get an extra discount on top of a discount. I think it's absolutely fantastic. All right, here's one of the things I quickly wanted to talk to you guys about, and maybe this is what was in the back of my mind, is Stormers Western Province Rugby. The Springboks have just been announced. Sia Kolisi is the captain. This is a real positive for us, Jerome.
Yeah, I mean, there's been talks about who's going to be the captain for quite long, and it wasn't a difficult decision because a lot of people say, here's a captain, he should be the captain.
But I think it's long overdue. Yeah, it's
long overdue.
2-3 years overdue at least. I mean, he's a 28-year-old who just capped 100 caps, Super Rugby caps with one union. You don't find this anywhere else.
Yeah.
I mean, he obviously had offers from other unions and he said no. He's a guy firmly grounded in his roots. He gives back to his community. He's a true community man, and he's one of the most humble captains that you'll find that will still come out and still greet every fan if he can see and greet them. That is a true captain. That is a leader that we need for Springbok Rugby.
Jerome, but at the same time, we've also got a lot of Western Province Rugby guys in the squad.
Yeah, I mean, we basically almost got a whole Western Province pack in in the Springbok squad.
Yeah.
And Damien Dalenda, I think, is the only back that's there. That's surprising, but it's good. We've got a lot of guys in the SA under 20.
Now that was going to be my next question.
Yeah.
Of course, you're currently the Western Province under 21 coach, right?
Yeah.
So these are all your players.
Yeah.
All right. So I mean, okay, let's take it to you then. Considering that you have all the, tell us about all your players that you've now got in the Springbok squad.
Yeah, we've got
In the Springbok under 21 squad.
yeah, we've got 7 guys in the Springbok. Seven guys in the 10 guys.
10.
10.
Just make it 10.
But 10 guys.
Just a round
There's
number.
10 from Western Province, and 6 of the 10 guys are forwards.
Yeah.
So it seems like we at Western Province do something right with the forwards. Because we all got most in the Springbok team. And in
Your forte is being a forward coach, though, right? Okay, that explains it. That explains it. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
I was going to say there's something in the water, but we don't have much water yet.
So it's good. It's good for the youngsters that we've got there also. And I mean, they've got their first game tonight against Georgia, and we've got 7 guys in the starting lineup, and we've got the captain in Murat, not only the Springbok captain.
So Salman Murat. Salman Murat is, of course, captain of the under-21s.
And Damien Willems is the vice captain.
Willems is vice captain.
So we've got good leaders in Western Province also. So yeah, it's a big plus. It's a big positive because that's our future.
So I know we're not winning the Super Rugby, but it certainly looks like that from a player's perspective, we're dominating rugby in South Africa.
One good thing is we're currently the under 21 champion, so hopefully we can do it again this year.
Yeah, well, I'm sure who's coaching? Sean Erasmus, right? No, Schools captain. Yeah.
Who's there?
No, it's Sanru.
Sean Roo there. Why are you not coaching the South Africa? Anyway, I'm not going to go. It's going to probably come back to me next week what it is that I wanted to talk about, but it really is going to be a fantastic season. Remember, please tag us, share those posters. This is what we've been waiting for now. The start of the Western Province Club Rugby season. Everybody's chomping at the bit, and it's all happening this coming weekend. We'll keep an eye on our Facebook pages. We'll let you know where we're going this weekend, but there's a strong possibility that it's going to be Franschhoek and Belleville in Franschhoek. Looking for a very exciting game there. Don't forget, of course, the Super Sport Challenge. DHL Western Province will be leading the way as a curtain raiser in the match before the match against False Bay up against Hamilton's. Lyndon Julius, nice to have you back, and thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me, and I hope that the excitement that has built up over the last 8 weeks, it feels like Christmas has come quite early for all of us. I can't wait to see the results on Saturday evening and just see how everyone is interacting. It's brilliant,
It's very exciting.
That time between on the Saturday afternoon,
Jerome Parvater, thanks for joining us. I'm sure if all your cousins are watching tonight, we'll have the highest viewership in the country.
Yeah, I will take the score personally to Kuni.
Connie?
Yeah, he won the school.
Oh, of course, yeah.
So I'll take the school team.
Connie.
Just make sure he gets it. Just make sure he gets it because I know Jerome likes his score.
Connie.
So I just don't know if it will reach Connie.
Connie Koenraad.
Yeah, JP, in this time of the year, it's, when the league starts, so I try to go to games that's close by each other, so I see one half there, so this time of the year is running around for me, so hopefully I can go to two games and see what's going on.
Looking forward to it. Right, folks, that's a wrap from us here at Cape Rugby TV. A big thanks to MChem Pharmacy that has now joined us. Remember, on the corner of Durban Road and the N1. You drive past them, you see it on the right-hand side if you're on your way out of town. That's a wrap. We'll see you again next week, same time, same place. Have a fantastic rugby weekend. Welcome back to Western Province Club Rugby season. It starts this Saturday. Bye-bye.